Oh boy, guys, I got some bad news. Some crazy stuff happened today. So I was up in the office working on some primary work stuff, and I heard this weird sound. It sounded like a couple things, dropping on the car, maybe somebody dropping some wrenches around or whatever. Didn't think anything of it. Thought Jackson was in here, maybe actually working on his car for once. That'd be strange. And all of a sudden, about 20 minutes later, sounds like half the garage just fell down and just collapsed upon itself. So if you notice, there's a lot of totes and a lot of car parts stacked down over here, stacked down over there. So what happened is, up here on my shelf where I keep all of that stuff, probably way too much weight, I've got, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, I guess I got 4 metal lines there, or metal hangers, cables that hold the weight of the front of that shelf up. And at some point, one of those cables let go and it dropped a couple parts, and that was kind of the sound of the ticking and the clicking and the sounds of, like, some small stuff falling. Could have been like, maybe these bolts. And then about 30 minutes later, 2 other cables broke, and it let go of, probably, was when those bolts fell. That master cylinder fell. A crank fell. I don't even know where the crank's at now. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, the crank's laying on the floor over here. Crank fell out of the thing. Anyways, a bunch of stuff fell, and the Camaro was pushed back pretty much directly underneath this. And when that crank fell, it smashed the roof here, broke the back glass out, and ended up in the rear hatch area down there. Along with a couple sets of these guys were in there. There's just a handful of random LS parts that were in the back hatch, and I have since repaired that and got that all brought back up to snuff. However, I will not be putting that many heavy parts up there because I don't want to go through this again. This is terrible. I still feel super bad for Jackson. Because yeah, he ain't got no money and he was not ready to start doing body work. He just wanted to drive this thing, and now it ain't got no back hatch. It's got a big ass dent in the roof that's gonna have to be hammered out and pushed out so the hatch seal's right. On a side note, I need to buy a parts car tonight to replace some of the parts that were destroyed in this unforeseen accident. So I don't know. I'm debating on getting rid of that shelf because that kind of really chaps my ass a little bit right there, is destroying a car. I've always been kind of worried about it, and now it makes me worry about having all that stuff up there above. What if randomly one day that just breaks and falls down and crushes, the Chevelle or snail mail? I would have rather had the Chevelle parked underneath here than this car, just because the Chevelle is my car. My garage broke it. I would have felt sick and disgusted either way, but it would have been my car. I would have felt better about it. So unfortunately, it was Jackson's, and guess what he has? He has a cool story to tell all of his friends. Right now it's really stupid and terrible, but when he gets older, when he's 23, he'll be able to say, yeah, remember that time that shelf broke and that crank landed on my roof and smashed the window out? Hopefully he's got a good opinion about it, I guess. So what's going on? Beat the sun up this morning to hit the road. For those of you that don't know, there was a little mishap with Project 3rd Gen, and we are headed up to Norfolk to go pick up a parts car. What do you think, Jackson?
I don't know. I gotta
See what's gonna happen, I guess. There she is. All right, guys, so with the parts car Camaro, let me squeeze in here. We were able to get some new glass, obviously the new back area, it's red, so it doesn't match, but We got the porta power out and we pushed the structure back up where it needed to be, and then we did a little bit of hammering on this and got this straight enough for the time being. Jackson pretty much said, he goes, I don't want to start body work, I just want to drive this thing, I want to have fun with it. So didn't do a lot of work, we just pretty much sprayed it with some spray paint just to keep it from rusting. When he decides he wants to do some more body work on it, we'll go ahead and address the dent in the roof and hammer that out and do a little more work to it. But he was able to get full interior of the parts car. These seats are so much cleaner. I don't know if you guys remember, but the passenger seat, everything was all slit and tore up from the vinyl seats were in this, but this thing looks way better. It obviously has the, you know, standard issue. Third gen Camaro, any sort of 90s car, tears in the seat, but all in all, the interior is a lot cleaner than it was before, so the parts car worked out very well for him. And then on the birthday cruise this year, we're sitting in Derek's backyard, and I go, is that third gen Camaro hood leaning against your fence? He goes, yeah, I don't know, where the hell did I get that? Oh yeah, I got that out of the dumpster at my work. So one of the guys at work does a lot of body work, rebuilds cars, Sean, and he was redoing this third gen Camaro. Well, that fiberglass hood wasn't going to work for redoing the Camaro, and he goes, well, I'll just take it to work and throw it away. And so I said, well, hey, can we use that as a mock-up on your car or on Jackson's car just to see how it looks? Because he wants a 4-inch cowl hood. I said 2 inches what you need. 4 inches way too big. So let's throw the hood on and see what you guys think. Okay, so we pretty much just got this hood for mock-up to see if a 4-inch cowl is too ridiculous or not, because clearly we can't use this thing because this hood originally had like a fucking massive blower out of it, 871 or something like that. So it's kind of just to give us an idea if a 4-inch cowl is too ridiculous to see over. And I'm not gonna lie to you, with that air cleaner on there, I don't think that a 2-inch would clear. So Jackson probably was right on this aspect. Maybe he does need a 4-inch cowl hood, and it actually looks pretty freaking badass on there. It's a little aggressive for sure for a 17-year-old, how old is he? 15-year-old kid's car. But I don't know, it looks pretty freaking cool on there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know that a 2-inch would clear. 2-inch would be close, but so now he's leaning towards a 4-inch cowl hood on this thing. All right, so story time with Project Third Gen Camaro. So the car show was a week ago, and we pulled all these cars down here on Friday. The hood was not on it; it was just engine bay, and we parked them all in Bryant Heating and Air's shop, just to get everything down there for the night before the show. And everything was good. Everything worked out fine. Jackson drove the car with John in it, or actually drove with my dad in it. Everything was fine. He didn't kill it. Everything was perfect. Parked it in there. Saturday morning rolls around. We're pulling all the cars out. 8:30, 9 o'clock. He fires his car up. Everything's cool. He's backing it out. Turns the steering wheel one time. Blows the power steering line. It just sprays power steering fluid everywhere. I don't know if you can see all the dust stuff. All this on the windshield. Just pretty much just made a trail in their shop of power steering fluid running out. So we're cleaning all that stuff up, doing all that stuff. We kind of pack a bunch of rags around everything that is leaking. He pulls it around, parks it for the show. Everything's fine. He's got a couple buddies that show up to the show. Guess what he wants to do? End of the show, show's done, we're all closing up shop. Hey, do you mind if I just go practice driving a clutch around and show my friends, you know, how to drive a stick? And I was like, yeah, go ahead, not a problem. So they go behind the building, the warehouse area. 30 minutes pass. He shows back up. He's like, hey, could you hear my hole shots? No, I did not hear your hole shots. What does that mean? Whatever, that's fine. I'm busy, you know, breaking stuff down and doing all that stuff. So we're getting all these cars home. We're trying to figure out how to get all the cars home, right? He's 15. He can't legally drive by himself. He has to have a licensed person in the car with him. We don't have enough persons, so we're like, fuck it. Jump in your car, drive your car. I'll follow you in the mail truck. No problems. And he does perfect. Drives the thing home without a hitch. By himself. No issues. We get in front of Zach's house. And mind you, I'm directly behind him in the mail truck, and this thing's loud as hell. He stops right in front of Zach's house. He gives it the old 1-2, dumps a clutch, starts doing a burnout in first gear. And I'm like, stop, shut it off. I'm yelling and screaming cuss words at him. And he can't hear me, obviously, because the mail truck's loud as hell. He's in there doing his thing. So this thing pauses in first gear. And I'm like, no. He's going to lose it because it's kicking out a little bit. He hammers second gear like a freaking champ. It's a proud dad moment. I'm not going to lie to you. And it goes to one wheel peel, and he just takes off. There's no more sideways action, just a straight line burnout. And proud dad moment, but a little bit of a pissed off dad moment because he's driving slightly illegally. So he got it home and parked in the garage, and this is where it sits at this point. He's replaced the rear hatch motor from the parts car, and he's working on getting the power steering line off of the parts car that's not leaking, so he can get this thing fixed and we can get this thing driving again. So otherwise, this thing is a pretty bad little unit. That Aces unit is pretty badass. It runs way harder than that old TBI unit. So yeah, the old Ford's in the garage now, and I drive this thing about every day. I take Harrison to school in it every morning. So tomorrow morning we'll be driving Harrison to school in it and dropping him off in it. So yeah, well, that's just a little quick update on the third gen Camaro. Yeah, some bad shit happened to it, but we're making headway with it, and this thing's gonna be a pretty sick little unit for a 15, 16-year-old kid. So stay tuned.